Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. A couple of days ago I posted my first video and I was really surprised to see the positive comments, the nice welcoming, nice warm welcoming, and the constructive criticism. So I'm very excited, and that's very motivational and inspirational to me. So I'm hoping that this video is going to be better than the last one and the next one better than this one. So today I want to show you how I made a paper basket like this out of a grocery paper bag. And I want to mention too that this was intended to be a basket, but in fact it turned out that you can actually fit a small tissue box on it. It almost completely covered it. So I was very excited. Yay! Another plus for recycling. So what we need to, the basic materials that we need for this project are the paper bag, which is of course the most important thing. When I go to the store, I mentioned last week that I usually request paper bags rather than plastic. And I ended up with so many of them, a huge stack, and I felt just awful throwing them away. So somehow, I guess, I don't know, I came up with the idea of trying to make baskets. And I really liked the outcome. So anyways, we need a paper bag and scissors or a paper cutter. This is very helpful and faster. We need a sharp edge, an old credit card or savings card. It's perfect. A round pen, ruler, some of these clothespins or paper clips will do too, and glue. So what we need to do first is measure our strips 1.5 inch wide. So you can measure, I like to start from the open end of the bag and just work my way in 1.5 inch all the way through. I do have some leftovers, so just be careful that when you go to the other side to measure it, you just scoot your ruler down and start again from the open side. Sometimes I have unconsciously turned the bag and my alignment is off. So next, you need to open the bag and glue the bottom of it and just make it nice and flat so it's ready to cut. And if you're using scissors, all you have to do is just make a line so that guides you where to cut. So next, I'm going to use, before that actually, I don't want to skip any steps. So once I cut it, I'm going to end up with 11 loops. This is less than 11, but that's okay. You should get a total of 11 loops, depending on the bag size. Most stores have a standard, let me get the bag again. They have a standard size, for the most part. This is what I've seen. And but some of the other stores, they have smaller bags or with handles. For this project, this is what worked out the best for me. So anyways, once you get your 11 loops, the bottom part, I just toss it out. I cannot do anything with it. There's just too much glue and too much bending on that one. So I'm gonna stick to the nice firm part of the bed. So on these ones, I'm going to undo the loop. Just pull it apart. Just be careful not to mess it up too much because you actually need that whole size. So I'm gonna do the same thing to all 11 loops, but for the sake of time saving, I'm not gonna do the whole thing on the video. And I may be going a little faster in some steps, so just let me know if you need me to repeat something or make a little quick video of the steps that you need more assistance, I should say. So anyways, on these strips, once you unglue them, pull them apart, all of them, it's important that you hide the lettering on it. So you will be also, for another purpose, you will be folding this strips in half as much as possible to so they can be nice and even. And it's okay if it's wrinkled. You won't really see that later on. So once it's all folded, all 11 strips, all you have to do is get your round pen, and you don't want it to be this way. You need it this way, but it needs to be nice and flat. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna put my fingers just like this, and then just push my pen on a downward direction, all of it. So just go all across. Okay, so it's nice and flat and firm. See how thin it is? So just remembering that the lettering goes on the inside, unless you want that to create that effect on the outside of the basket. So once you do this to all the strips, all the loops, you're going to fold them in half. And where are my scissors? You're gonna cut. This is the size that you're actually gonna work with. So let me clear up my area. So these are the 11 strips. So now I need to get 6 for some of the base. Okay, and they are still open, that's okay. If you find it a little difficult to work with them, then you can bring your pen. Here it is. Again, and just flatten them up down a little bit. This way. See, this one is not totally even, so it bugs me, so I'm just gonna fold it as evenly as possible. Okay. I forgot to explain that the reason why I stripe it down instead of just any other direction when I'm folding and flattening these strips is because the more you play with paper, the more you touch it, the more flexible and malleable it gets. So it stretches. So it may take a curve, a curvy shape like this, and that makes it a little harder to work with. So you need it nice and straight. You can also pull it taut, but if you pull it too much, it's going to rip. So that's good enough. See, that nice and straight shape is what I want. So anyway, so you need 6, and make sure that when you line them up, the open part is all facing the same direction. It's much easier to work with that way. So you need 6 going this way, and then you need another 6. And that's gonna start your pattern. That's 5 right there, and one more, so 6. So what you wanna do is that you wanna center it, make sure that you have a nice centered box, something like that. So now I'm gonna put those aside, and I'm gonna start weaving this like a checkerboard pattern. Okay. So that right there. So I'm gonna try to speed it up over here. It's easier if I start at this end. Okay, so it's just doing the same pattern over and over. It's like braiding or weaving it, whatever you want to call it. So it's gonna be the opposite on each row. So let's do one more. So it's gonna be, this one was, this strip was over, so this one's gonna be under, over, under, over, and so on and so forth. Okay. You can always squid it over if it comes apart. Since it's a smaller basket, it's easier to work with this right now. My first project was doing a big basket, and that took me quite a while. But I found it challenging, and I did it. I got it done. So let's do one more. And because it's getting a little more solid, more firmer, I should say, it's getting easier to work with. So that's 5. Okay, that's my 6 right there. So you can just scoot them over until you're happy with what it looks like. Now I do want to make sure again that this is nice and centered. If it's easier for you to glue the first strip, that's fine. And the trick for this size basket is that, well, it depends on the bag too. But for me, I found out that I have like 7 inches all around once I form this shape. So right now I didn't care much about the length of it. So what I'm gonna do right now is that I'm gonna pull and make them all the same length all around. Okay. And this one seems longer over here, so I'm gonna pull it over here. That's actually fun to me. I'm sure I'm not the only one that finds fun on making crafts. Okay, so that looks about right. So, and the length on each side looks about right too. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I glue all of these guys. See, this is why I don't like the curvy shape. I get a nice straight strip, because then you gotta be struggling a bit. So now what I need to do is glue every single strip so that they don't move later on when I'm working. So all I have to do is get a dab of glue everywhere, and then you work your way around, then you flip it over. Well, before that, make sure you put a little bit of pressure so the glue settles. And then when you're done all around, flip it over and do the same thing to the loose ones, all the way around. So since glue takes a little bit of time to dry, I'm gonna pretend this is all good and I'm gonna put it to dry somewhere else. So now I have another one right here. This one's nice and dry already. So I'm gonna show you how to build it up. I need my sharp edge right here. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna go ahead and use the edge of the card and just push all the strips up to create that nice edge. And that's gonna be on all 4 sides. And I hope that I'm always within the shot view, the camera view. Okay, so do the same on each side. Okay, I did that one, yeah. So now what I need to do is get some more strips to start building it up. What I did on the first basket is that I used the 6 strips and 6 strips, which is this base right here, and then the height I also used 6, so I made pretty much a perfect square. But because the tissue box, well, now my purpose is to do a tissue box holder, so I'm gonna do, instead of 6, I'm gonna do 1 more, so that's gonna be 7 strips. I probably won't be able to show you the whole step the way I want to, but then again, if you do have questions or you want me to repeat something, just let me know. But this is how I start the walls of my basket. Okay, so now this is where these clips come in handy, because I don't want this to be moving around. So all I'm gonna do, let me see, hopefully you can see clearly. All I'm gonna do is exactly the same pattern I did here, just being a little more careful that it stays even all around. So that's the first line right there. I get to the end, I'm gonna go ahead and make a little bend. That's for the corner. And if I'm happy with it, if it's lined up the way I want to, then I can go ahead and put some glue in it too. And use one more clip or a cloth pin. Okay, so I'm gonna come back on the next wall. Again, I gotta keep the pattern going. So this strip going up was on the outside, so this is to be on the inside. And we just follow the same pattern all over until the height, until you reach the height desired. So there's the next wall. This is why if the corner is bent, helps a little more. But you can always pull it so that you can see the box shape. Okay, bend it again at the corner. Use a little more glue here. And use another cloth pin. Okay. This is where it gets a little bit tricky, maybe frustrating for some of you, but you get there. Okay, just remember to follow the same pattern all around. and then right here. I want to show you to complete the whole turn. So just make sure that the horizontal stripe is nice and squarish. And more glue, more clips again. I got these clips at the keep on calling them clips, the clothes pins at the dollar store, and I find them really, really useful. They have also smaller sizes, but they're a little harder to work with. So those are my favorite. Okay. Sometimes you may actually skip a strip, and it may look like this, and then you realize that when you're maybe around the corner over there, but you can always go back and undo it, or if you can find your way to thread it the right way also. Okay, so that's the end of my walls right there for my box. And I was actually lucky enough to get the exact size to go all the way around. See, if I put it this way, you can actually see what I mean. So I'm gonna do one more as fast as I can so that I can show you the height, because that's important too. So let's do one more strip over here. It takes a little time. That's why I kind of wanted to have some things ready so that it wouldn't be such a long video. Okay, I'm gonna undo the clip on the bottom. That's dry enough. And I'll work this way. So again, same pattern repeat. And since this is a longer strip, it gets a little trickier. But it is possible. I mean, possible. Okay. So now, what I want to make sure, see how it moves? So just want to make sure that that doesn't move, that it stays in place. And the glue is still wet, so you can still manage. Okay, so what I wanted to show you was that when you get from one corner to the other, you want to make sure that the height stays the same. See, I skipped that strip right here, so I gotta go back. And actually, I skipped one on the bottom, perfect example. So I may go back later and fix that one. And it's okay because the glue is still wet at the end over there. So anyways, when you get to, I wanted to show you that when you get to the end of each corner, keep in mind that they have to be the same height, because if not, it's gonna end up higher on one end, on one side than the other. So I'm gonna stop right here with this part of it, because I wanna show you what's next. So let me put this aside. This one, I got already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the more, like when you have 3 or 4, you can start seeing the pattern, the nice basket pattern. So again, the height on each corner is important so that you get a nice, evenly distributed basket. When you get to the end, I want to take some of these off. It's okay, these ones are loose. You can always glue them right now or later on. They won't come off. It's nice and firm right now. Okay, so I also wanted to show you that you are only gluing the corners when you're building it up. So some of these guys are gonna be a little bubbly, a little space in there. So all you have to do is just pull them and make it nice and firm. And it's actually fun. Okay, go like this. And this is why it's important to glue at the beginning. Let me show you again. To glue the base, this area's all around here. This one's coming up. No, I didn't have enough glue, and I moved it too fast. So that's why it's important to glue every single side of here, because when you're pulling it to make it, to find the shape, when you're doing this, especially on the ones, this one's right here, you're pulling from down here. So you may, if it's not glued, you're gonna have a gap, and you don't really want to have a gap like that. See, you want to make sure that it's nice and square the way you want it. So this one looks good. So this one, just so that I can show you what's next, I'm not gonna do all the 7 strips the way I did on the tissue box holder. So once you get to the end, that's gonna be open. Sometimes you may have longer ends than others. All you have to do is trim them with the scissors, which I lost. Where'd they go? Okay, I lost my scissors. Yeah, found another pair. Gotta have extras of everything. Okay, so all you have to do is even it out, and this is fine. Sometimes they may be shorter, sometimes they may be longer, and that's okay as long as you actually make it to the end. That's fine. So on this one, this is dry enough already, so I'm gonna take this clip off. See how I have flaps? If I were to have all 7 of them, I still would have some left over. So it depends on how high you want it. I'm gonna leave this one this height. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna trim, and I'm perfectly fine with everything else on it. So I'm gonna trim this much to even it out. So I'm gonna end up with a smaller basket on here. So just trim all the sides. And then all you have to do is bend this over and glue it. Or glue it first and then bend it, whichever way you want to do it. The thing is that you have to put glue on each of these ends, and then the ends that go on the inside, and then just fold it over this way. And I use again my cute little pins. You want to see the tiny ones in action. This ones, they're just a little bit harder to manage, but they're cute. Okay, so you will do that all around. Once it's dry, you can try to close it, and I'll show you what to do on that one. Let me just use the little pins because I don't have another example to keep on going from there. Okay, so all you have to do to close it is get a strip. Let me get a leftover strip. Okay, find one leftover. So I'm gonna take this strip and just get the height. And it's about there. So I'm gonna glue this. Oh, before I do that, I wanted to show you another example too. That this is how you can tell that it's also even. So just make sure that all the sides are even, again, I mean the same height. And then when you get to the end, if they match, you're perfectly fine. So now let's keep on trying to close it. So you're gonna put glue on both sides because you're gonna use it, do it like this. And this one's on the way. And that's going to take care of the corner. It's gonna bring them together. So that's gonna need a little bit of pressure and time to dry. Okay, and a pin maybe on the way, so I'm just gonna take care of that. Okay. Again, make sure that all of these sides are glued, preferably before you close the corner, or at least that these corners are glued down so these flaps don't get in the way. Okay, so this needs more pressure, and I'm just gonna let this dry and come back to it. But this is how it will seal. So this one, it's done. I glued all the sides down, inside and outside, again following the same pattern. And see, there's my seal right there. There's some little bubbles in there, and that's okay. You can always apply more glue and go back to it. You're gonna be doing more coats of sealer too, so that'll help. Anyways, but with this one, what I wanted to show you is how to do the edge, the border, which is this part right here, so it's nice and smooth, so you don't see imperfections. So I did it on this one, but let me show you how I started. So I'm gonna get another strip. You don't have to worry about measuring it or anything. For the most part, these strips, again, I was lucky that they came out to be exactly the same length going all around. If it happens to be shorter or you took a piece off of it for whatever reason, you can always use leftovers. But for now, I'm gonna use this one. When I do use the glue all the way on the length, just because it's easier for me. Okay. Oops, got some glue in there, that's okay. And my glue is finishing up. So I got stuck up on the glue. This one's a little higher, and actually I wanted to show you this one because I was doing it faster. This one is crooked, so some sides are smaller than others. This side right here happens to be a few millimeters higher. So what I'm gonna do to fix this is it's already dried up pretty much. So I'm going to, let me see, am I still within view? I'm going to use my scissors and just try to even it out right about there. And you can always experiment as you go. There's no perfect or specific way to do anything. So that looks more even, and it's crooked over here. That's okay, don't worry about it. I'll show you how to cover it. So something like that. Yeah, that looks about right. And if it doesn't, we can always embellish it, and that will take care of that. Okay. So this came open, that's okay. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna seal it with this. I'll just make sure that I have a little extra glue for those areas that I cut open and exposed. So I'm gonna do this. I usually like to start where the junction is. So I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna open my corner, go down and press on the border. Then keep on going. And do all my sides. See, now these open, these are the areas that I cut with the scissors, cut open. So this is gonna take care of them. Right there. So again, it's fresh glue, so I have to put pressure. And I'm gonna use my clothespins again. They're cute, pretty little helpers. Okay, so that just has to dry. And see, you cannot really tell that I messed up on it before. Awesome, isn't it? Okay, so this one has to dry now. So now, what I want to show you is this one is dry. I may have forgotten a few details here and there, but if you feel that there's something that was not clear, again, you can always just let me know. Okay, so see how soft these guys are? Like really weak and just way too soft. They're actually softer than the paper was when I first started, because that's because you keep on playing with it and touching and bending and stretching and all that. So what I did to make it this hard was that I used Mod Podge. I use this stuff for a whole lot of different things. So I did a coat of Mod Podge, and because I wanted something pretty on it, this is from a napkin. So I just got the cutout. I separated the two layers because it comes with a white layer in the back. So I only used the top one. That's usually the best way to go, so it doesn't bubble up or wrinkle. So I did a coat of Mod Podge, then I put my flour on top. I did the other way around. These are just simple ones. I'm not so happy how they came out, so I may just find something prettier and cover it. I actually have some more cutouts of another napkin. See, this is a single layer already. I already took the back off. So who knows, maybe I'll use something like that and I'll just cover it. Or maybe not, since I already trimmed it with the ribbon. So yeah, it would look something like that. That's a nice pattern actually. But anyways, this is how it will come out. The Mod Podge gives it a nice glossy finish. This is the glossy type. And let me see what else was I going to say. Okay, so I did a coat on the inside, let it dry, came back a few hours later or the next day. Or if you want to speed up the process, you can always use a fan. But I did one coating first, and then I did the opposite side, the outside. Usually when I do the outside, here's a tip for you. When I do the inside and let it dry, you can always leave it up this way. When I do the outside and the bottom, I just find something to put it on, and nothing touches it. It's nothing's gonna happen to it. Then I come back and it's ready. I also wanted to find something that protects it from moisture, and I was told that polyurethane actually does the trick. And the two coats made it hard enough so that it's not too weak or flimsy like this one. Look at that. So this one is way better. I really like how it came out. So this one's, I could either keep it or give it as a present. It depends on what else, you know, mainly the ones, the new ones. I can try to come up with some other embellishment of some kind. So I have one that can be ready to be given as a present. Oops, there you go. Birthday present or Valentine's. The small balloons actually look cute on these things. So I included some candies in there, or gift card or whatever you want to put in there. I think it looks great. And if someone loves puppies, even better. What I do have in mind is to do another project for a friend of mine that whose dog just passed away, and he was, of course, very sad about it. So I wanted to complete a project tonight that included a picture of his pets. He's got 3 of them, but one of them is the one that's gone. So I was gonna put it all around it, and it is a surprise. I'm still gonna do it. So hopefully it turns out just the way I want it. So anyways, it's gonna be for birthdays, Valentine's, with Valentine's Day coming. That's it'll be perfect, and you can put whatever you want on it. This one I used a different trim on it, different border, and I like how it came out. So anyways, that's it for today. I hope the video was helpful and not too long. I did try to cover as much as I could because there's just so much to it, and the more you keep on working, the more ideas come up, and you're like, okay, you want to try this, or oh, this will look cute, oh, I like this better. So it's up to you, but this is basically how to make a paper basket. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, I'll be really happy if you give me a like and share. So let me know whatever, excuse me, whatever questions you have or comments. And I hope to, I hope you can join me again on the next video. Thank you.